right. Oh, man. I'm excited. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stump. We do it every Wednesday, 3 p.m.-ish on the squishy chairs. We called it the squishy chairs now after Alyssa Moore came and donned them the squishy chairs. But next week we're gonna take off because we got the golf championship, so we're gonna be hanging out with sleeveless T-shirts and Michelob Ultras all next week on the golf course at TPC Southwind. But after that, we got Pixels coming in. Had a bit of a scheduling thing. Summer's hit me hard, so like I keep messing up all the scheduling. But I'm so excited to have you guys in here right now. I know I'll be showering you with compliments for the next wherever minutes we're doing this right now. Right. But ladies and gentlemen, we have Kaylin and Will from Rosey. How are we doing today?
We're doing good. Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Hot.
You hot?
No air in my van, so it's a sweaty ride here, but we're good.
Oh my God. It is I always think about whenever I'm driving on the road and think I'm having a tough day, I just imagine I was like, this would be a whole lot worse without air conditioning. Mm-hmm. Is this the touring van, or is this just a daily driver van?
We both have vans with no air conditioning right now.
Mine at least blows wind. His doesn't blow any air out.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I shouldn't complain.
How do you get your mindset into like, okay, we're just going to power through this all day?
Oh, it's just screaming the entire time. It just doesn't end.
But what's it called? You know, it's funny because when I discovered you guys, a lot of times it's when people, like the person who recommends a band, like you trust the person. If you don't trust the person, they can recommend something amazing, and you're like, okay, all right, I'll check it out. And then you just kind of file that in the back cabinet. But Robert Fortner at the P&H, if you're not familiar with Robert Fortner, tattooed face, incredible artist. So encourage you to follow him on Instagram at Robert Fortner. I mean, it's some of the most, it's dark, it's disturbing, but inspiring and beautiful at the same time. A lot of things going on. He's like, Ross, have you heard about the band Rosey? I was like, no. What is this said band of Rosey? And he goes, you got to check out Rosey. They're playing at the P&H here in like a week or two. I was like, all right, I'll be there. Because if Robert recommends something, I make sure to go check it out or look it up on the internet. And sure as hell, showed up, watched you guys play. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and
we love him.
Yeah.
Super sweet. He's a super good dude. And like you said, his art's like amazing. Just all the hellscapes he does. How he's gone so far into that kind of, it's almost like a niche, but it's still very varied.
I like the word hellscape.
Yeah.
That is a good word to describe that. Like almost like I don't know. It's just it's dark. It's all those things that, and I don't know. I always think of post-apocalyptic when I hear hellscape.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of nails going through hands and stuff like that. Anytime I see something disturbing, and I'm inspired by it. I always think, I'm like, what is in the back of my head right now?
Say about me?
Yeah. Do you ever do that? You look at art and you're like,
oh yeah.
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 And you recommend it, like kind of show it to somebody else, and they're like, oh, that's nice.
And back away a little bit. No, his artwork is incredible. Speaking of the P&H, little plug.
Get it?
My birthday party / Rosey show is going to be there on September 13th. I'm turning 30 on Friday the 13th.
Are you?
So we've already booked it. I told Robert, I was like, P&H, it's happening. He's like, yes, please.
So it'll be probably kind of early show before the karaoke that night.
Pre-karaoke.
So.
Also, I hear there's a tattoo parlor in Memphis that does free tattoos on Friday the 13th. It's like every Friday the 13th.
Really?
Yeah, it's like one of those things that like you get, like almost like you get what you get,
right.
or you pick from a wall, and it's like it's like a $50 tattoo or something like that.
I've seen like the $31 tattoos for Friday the 13th. I don't know, but I think you do have to like pick from some flash that they have, and it's like little bats that say 13 on them or something.
Yeah,
like that.
that'd be a good day to get a couple's tattoo.
Oh,
like if you're gonna do that.
Let's do
You guys have been really, really busy in the last couple of months. You put out an EP. The title escapes me. I was swallowed by a whale.
A great day to be swallowed by a whale.
A great day
It's a
to be
long
swallowed
title.
by a whale.
Yeah.
It almost reminded me of that band. I wrestled a bear once. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard that name. I can't say I've ever listened to them.
Okay, it's really hard, heavy, spastic, and just all over the place. But it's got I believe it's got 5 songs on it. You just released the music video for, is it Neptune?
Neptune, yeah.
I love the video. It kind of reminds me like old Nickelodeon, when like not like Nickelodeon the channel, but like old like 30s Nickelodeon, when you go to the theater and they have the cardboard cutout of the, and it's all. And I'll get to the theme of the album because it seems to be very seaworthy. But you have the waves there kind of cut out, and so it looks like someone's like moving the waves with their hands.
Yeah.
And the guitar solo, just all of a sudden, a guitar just drops out of the bottom.
That's the best part.
Yeah, I love it.
And the little piano comes flying in from the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun, just making that whole set just in our living room, and you know the cats were going berserk on it. You know, it's hard to, but we wound up just incorporating all the animals in it anyway.
Yeah.
We started throwing them across
Right.
the room, like trying to get shots of them playing with the sun and everything. It was one of those things where we started it thinking it was just going to be some cute shots of the animals playing around on this set that we built, and then as we were shooting, we kept coming up with more ideas, like the guitar coming in, and like later on we have clouds coming in a later video, so we've been spending just days and days working on it, but it's been so fun.
It's got to be hard doing a production with cats running around because all they're doing is just knocking things over slightly and chewing on things.
They just want to mess up anything that you're doing, it seems like.
Yeah.
They're just out to sabotage you.
Sadists.
Yeah,
Just really.
They are. They're evil.
But if they're coming out to play and they're coming out messing around, that means they're cool cats because they're kind of floating around. They're not like skittish and scared and hiding the whole time.
True.
Yeah, no, they're friendly. They just always want to be a part of what you're doing.
Good. Good. I can't stand a cat that just kind of hides in the closet the whole time.
Yeah.
Because then not only they don't beg for because cats choose whether or not they like you, and they already have so much power within them. Because they get to kind of come and go as they please and all that, and so when they come out and kind of jump in your lap and stuff, cats are a hard sell to some people. So I always like a friendly cat. So then all of a sudden, like it kind of gives cats a good name.
Right.
But so the new P, it definitely has a sea theme to it, which I guess we got a river, but I guess we could call us a landlocked. Are we landlocked?
I think so.
I mean,
I don't know. I guess the river counts as being not landlocked.
I don't know.
I don't know.
it's
the
good for commerce, but not good for swimming.
Right, exactly.
So how come we went with a sea theme? What's swirling around in the brain?
Well, a lot of the songs, a couple of the songs that are on the EP are songs that I wrote a really long time ago, like between 7 and 9 years ago, and we really just we decided to pick a theme when we were picking songs from the EP, and we realized that over the years I've written a lot of songs about the ocean or using nautical themes, which doesn't really make sense because I've been to the ocean twice in my life. But I don't know, but I've always heard, and this is a bummer, but I've always heard that the ocean is like a big metaphor for depression.
Okay.
And so I kind of like maybe subconsciously would use that imagery in my songs just as like a way to express my emotions without being like, I'm real sad all the time. Like, it sucks. So yeah, but we really just, we picked a theme and then chose songs to fit the theme. So that's where the nautical.
Oh, that'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the next one's going to be.
Right. It seemed like we kind of had a big backlog of songs that we couldn't really afford to record all of them at that point in time. So we were like, well, if we're going to do just 5 songs, we might as well. It was just kind of hard to pick which 5 songs without being like, well, we'll just do all the watery ones.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
You're kind of like picking
All
your
the wet
favorite
ones.
children,
Right.
which people, if I hear that people do, if they're being honest in like in a dark room with like really good friends, they have favorites or they like them for different reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see that, yeah.
Was it hard picking songs?
It was kind of hard, and it is definitely easy to second guess after we got started. Like, should we have done
Yeah.
But we'll get to the rest of them, eventually.
I'm sure you will, because what's funny, it's amazing, like the quick trajectory that you guys have kind of run, and and especially I live in Midtown. I think we all live in Midtown. It's kind of like Midtown scene. It went from who's this band Rosey to you have to see Rosey.
Oh man.
And it's got to be a great kind of like pat on the back and just like kind of a warm hug.
Dude, people have been so nice.
It's
It's
weird.
crazy.
Yeah, it's what we were just talking about the other day, how we're starting to have to turn down show offers, and like we went from, we'll play like a little show at the Lamplighter with this touring band, and maybe like 5 or 10 people will come, and now like everything that we have booked is some event like Josh's birthday party, or we're playing with Heels for Josh McClane's birthday. Like it's all like these big events and stuff, and we're just like, what happened? Where did all this I don't know. It's crazy.
I love how everybody has a birthday party, and if you're lucky enough to know bands and stuff like that, and people bands, you just throw a show.
Yeah.
It's an instant party. Your friends will come up and show up, and then you're still working, kinda, but you get to work for a good cause, which is your own cause.
Right.
That's awesome. You got like the gift of turning down shows.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Because at the end of the day, like, a show on a Tuesday night that maybe nobody's going to be at is still kind of more fun than just sitting at home.
Yeah.
Like, we'd still kind of rather do it sometimes, but then it's kind of the trade-off of, like, well, if we get everybody together for that show, are we going to be able to get everybody together for practice that week or whatever, So it's kind of picking and choosing what the priorities are, I guess.
Well, you make that show your practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you'll break out the new material and then
yeah.
kind of play around with it. Let's see if give it a road test.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been treating our shows as practices. It is hard to get new songs out that way, though.
Yeah.
We've been trying to introduce a brand new song into our sets, and we finally got it, but we couldn't get together for practice because we were having at least one show every week.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no time.
Yeah.
But we finally did it. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can feel you about that because we got tomorrow. It kind of just worked out this way, the way it is, because tomorrow we're actually playing together. We're sharing this stage at High Tone, and I believe Space Truckers, Glorious Bore, Rosey, and Native Blood. But we also have a record release show on Saturday, so we're like on the same stage 2 days later. So we're like, why do we book? But at the same time, we're like, you know what? Sitting at home is kind of can kind of suck sometimes. So it's rather have something to do.
Yeah.
Sure. And those are both going to be awesome shows, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So that'll be cool.
They're both very big deals.
I know Space Truckers coming down from St. Louis. They're a fun group of guys. If you ever need a show in St. Louis, they're great guys. They kind of hook you up and tell you where to play and where not to play and all that.
I'm excited to meet them. I've only heard of them. I haven't gotten a chance to listen to them yet. But our friend Ed from Wine Witch and Onus, like every time I see him, he's wearing a Space Trucker T-shirt.
Yes.
So like these guys have to be really good.
He was wearing it. That guy, I love him so much. I felt bad for him because we talk about the heat. He's like 6'4", and he's a big dude. He's a big boy, and like he is dealing with every square inch of this heat right now. And that poor Space Trucker shirt. You could wring it out while talking to him. And I think he's got air conditioning in his van, so don't feel too bad for him. So this EP, I noticed that you recorded it with Calvin at Young Avenue Sound. Yeah, and I feel like Young Avenue Sound is they've really embraced, and I don't know the history of Young Avenue Sound. I mean, we've recorded there, and it's an awesome room, but it seems like there's just been this flux of new bands coming there and recording there. Do you attribute that to maybe the personnel that are working there? It's just a great room, or?
I think it's all of it.
All of it?
I mean, Calvin approached us himself at Louise Page's Simple Sugar EP release last year. And so he came to us and said that he really wanted to work with us, but I've got other friends that work there, and it's just like everyone that works there is just so kind and so patient and friendly, and just their equipment is incredible.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm I'm not like enough into it to really know all the specs of all the mics and stuff. But even just like moving a mic stand, I was like, this is the nicest mic stand I've ever touched.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's amazing how weight just like in my head it could be made of rock
Right.
for all I know. But I'm like, wow, this is really good.
It really did. We were setting up the vocal area, and he went to pick up a mic stand, and he was just like, "Oh!" It's like, this is the nicest mic stand I've ever held.
Was this the first time? This actually you guys did a demo with Alyssa
Yeah.
at Move the Air.
Yeah.
So was this the first this the second time you guys were in the studio together?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How was it different from the first time?
Well, it was a couple more songs. The first time, I guess, was that still in the old studio? Yeah, that
Yeah.
was in the old studio, Alyssa's old studio space, which was it was a cool space, but it was kind of like, it's not the kind of conventional studio setup where you have the tracking room and the control room. It's all just one big room, which is cool in a lot of ways. I mean, both times were super fun. It was just a little different. Like, I kind of dug, at least for me, tracking guitars over at Young Avenue, like, just sitting in the control room playing guitar and listening back through speakers rather than standing there with headphones is, like, always just feels a little different, you know?
Mhm.
It's hard to get fully into it. But, yeah, I mean, both places are great places to record.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend either one.
Awesome, and it's also when you're recording in the control room, it gives that. From what I understand, the way that studio is built, and it's almost like the skyscraper in Ghostbusters. How it's like it's got like kind of possessed and like this was designed by a witch, like because like they have, from what I understand, a lot of recording studios they're specifically the way they're built. Like there is like 1.5 feet, 2 feet below the studio. And then there's 1.5 feet of space between the walls, which like allow it to kind of it doesn't allow much reverberation and it bounces back at you. Above my pay grade and understanding, like if we could talk frequency and stuff like that. But from what I understand, the person who designed Young Avenue Sound also designed Abbey Road.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard that.
It was they designed Abbey Road and 10, 15, 20 years later, came to Memphis, and Memphis had has the history that it has. So he's like, I'm going to build a recording studio here in town. And I don't know if it was like a middle finger to like Sam Phillips or like, we could do better. Love the guys at Sam Phillips, by the way. Wes, love you, buddy. Yeah, no. Good. And what's funny is the way, and I was listening to the album all day, getting ready for you guys, and I just love your cadence on what you sing, because it's not, from what I pick up from it, it's not like the typical chorus song, like chorus verse. I mean, it's almost like the Pixies, like you come out strong or you come out quiet and then it goes in. I mean, you're playing with it. You're playing with your vocal styles, and it's really cool to listen to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a lot of practice. I started writing songs and singing when I was, I don't know, like 17 or 18, and I listened back to those recordings that I made way back then, and I'm just like whispering them, like, like, what was I doing? Like, why did nobody stop this? So, I've had a lot of direction over the years of people being like, you could be a little bit louder, and I went from singing entirely just like little whisper falsetto to like blowing out my vocal cords at every show.
Yeah.
Trying to find a healthy medium, at least for the recordings.
Well, I'm scared to practice singing in my apartment that I pay for. That is my private space. That is, I sleep like 10 feet from my living room, but I'm scared that my neighbors will hear me. Mm-hmm. It's almost like trying to find a safe space to be able to kind of express yourself is a tough thing sometimes.
Yeah. Fortunately, we live in just like a house, so our neighbors are far enough away that I still, when I'm home alone, I still get a little nervous, like trying to belt it out because I'm like, someone's going to call the police. I just know it. But we're fortunate. Like when we were living in an apartment, I was too nervous to really practice singing very much. But I still, like, when we were doing some home demos, I would make him like leave the room if I was doing like a really loud part because I would just be too self-conscious. But it's nice to have a place to practice.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's funny, and that's one of the things I love about you both. And I believe Daniel and Will,
Yeah.
they're not here today. Bass and drums, incredible musicians as well. And I wish they could be here. But one of the things I love about you guys are so soft spoken, and you're both very modest. But your playing is anything but that. I mean, it's just a wall. I mean, you're an animal. You get out there. I mean, you're working the room. You're working the stage. I mean, you have a pedal board that, I mean, you're playing, and the sounds that come out of it are so clean and crisp, and you're kind of seamless when you do that, and it's just a wall of sound. I wonder, how, like, overcoming that, or is it is this like the one place that you get to get that out, that angst out?
Yeah.
It's just kind of all resting in the back of you, and you're like, all right, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, Brendan Whalen did a review of our new EP, and he...
Brendan Whalen from Heels.
From Heels, love him, love you Josh, love you Brendan. He kind of asked me, like, where the inspiration comes for the lyrics and everything, and it's kind of the same for the performance. I said that I have these stories that I need to express, but, I don't talk very much. I'm very quiet, like, I can't really get it out except through these lyrics, and then I can't, like, really emote it until I'm performing. Like, that's when I'm, like, getting all the feelings out.
Yeah.
And it's the only chance that I really get, which might be a little unhealthy, but I do what I can.
I mean, well, it's funny. I wish more, like you say, like, might not be unhealthy, but most people, maybe most people, I don't know. Some people don't have even that. It's sort of have that kind of outlet. I like, one of my favorite things to do before I started playing music was I used to keep a bat in my car, and whenever I had like a really like intense moment, like emotional, I'd pull over the car or pull in an abandoned parking lot. I would just hit rocks with the bat and think.
Yeah.
And like that was
Nice.
the thing. And I was like, if anybody kind of drives by, they're gonna see. They're not gonna see the rocks, me pulling up the rock. They're just gonna see a guy swinging a bat at nothing in a parking lot. But like I was like in high school at the time, and that like I was kind of. I was outgoing, but there was still something in my head,
Yeah.
and so that, like, however you get it out,
Yeah.
know.
It's so important to have an outlet, whatever it is. If it's hitting rocks with a baseball bat, or if it happens to be on stage,
Yeah,
you just gotta let it out.
and one way or another, I mean, that is, I think just based off of that, just like getting it out, like, what do you think that would have done if you don't get it out?
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Dark places. I don't know. I wouldn't have any friends for sure. I don't know. I would be a completely different person.
And the reason why I say that is I bring that up because if anybody's watching this or gets to hear this or something like that, kind of like an inspiration to somebody who's sitting there with their songs by themselves, and kind of wonder how the hell. I can't do this. It's like like the fear of that is like jumping off that cliff. Is there any other way to describe it other than you just gotta jump out there?
Yeah, I mean you could start small, but you definitely get out there. We started with like open mic nights. If you're specifically talking like songwriting, or I started with like reading poetry out loud at open mic nights, or like singing covers. And people were like, you can write poetry and you can sing, write songs. Okay, but yeah, just get out there, find your community. You know, if it's an open mic night, or I don't know, that's the best place to start in my opinion, because they're always so welcoming and so friendly, and you build just like the strongest little group of friends that are so supportive of you, and it's a great place to go and test things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And find your community. I like that because I remember like when I first started doing stand-up, I thought everybody that was there knew exactly what was going on at all times. Like, but then like you stick around, you're like you kind of, I'm like, oh, people don't know. I have no clue what's going on right now, and they're just kind of wrestling through it just like I am. And it's kind of reassuring, like to know that, because artistically, it's it's just difficult to kind of find your place and find your footing, and everybody's kind of doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a good point. It's like that everybody else is, just as insecure and, doubtful as you are, and they probably think your stuff's great, or at worst they just don't care, which is
Yeah.
fine too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like people are going to be sitting there brooding like,
Right.
oh God, I hate this guy's songs. Or
Yeah.
something. It's like it's going to be fine.
I call that the casual nod, like the casual nod.
Right.
Like you stand up, the laughter is the immediate thing, but like at least with music, people will just give you that nod to like know that I'm at a music show. I don't necessarily, even if I don't like your music, I'll just
Right.
yeah. It's like the courtesy, like, okay, I'm not doing this for nobody.
Yeah.
What's your biggest fear as a band?
Oh, forgetting the words.
Forgetting the words.
It happens.
Yeah, I guess any like live train wreck is always a fear, and anytime the song has to come to a complete stop, which hasn't happened. I don't think that's happened with Rosey yet, but
We've had like a couple of false starts.
yeah, false start's totally okay.
Where it's like we'll play like the first two notes and then someone's just not paying attention and we're like, okay, let's start again.
I think that's totally fair game
Yeah.
to restart at that point. But,
Right.
middle of the song, you just have to tough it out.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
within reason.
Has there any been a kind of like catastrophe since you guys have been doing it that you're kind of like, then like it kind of set in the back of your mind, like, all right, not this again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's been I can think of a couple times where it was like, man, I just totally whiffed that. Like, we're definitely going to practice that. Go back over it. But we generally make it through. Last show, actually, we had like the smoothest power outage and power comeback onage that I've ever experienced. It was like totally, because Will's bass amp didn't go out, so like the bass and drums kept going. Like we both cut out, but it was totally smooth. It was only like 5 seconds.
Almost
Yeah.
looked planned.
Yeah, it totally was better
Nobody
energy
even
when it came back.
noticed.
Well, how'd you guys start? I mean, how long have you guys been together?
Year and a half,
Okay.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
I guess. Yeah, I mean we really just started like the two of us like after he moved in with me. I don't know. I think he just wanted to play drums on some of my songs. Is that
Right.
what it was? Like
I don't know. Like we were just, I kind of learned your songs I'd just been playing around, and we started kind of doing some like jazz covers and stuff too, and
Trying
some
to make money.
originals. Yeah,
Jazz
trying to make
covers?
money.
yeah, doing like dinner gigs and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we made like $60.
It was not very lucrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of learned all our songs, and then like kind of wanted to play drums on them so they'd sound beefier, and just just kind of itching to start a band with it and hear them all fleshed out. And I've been playing music with Daniel half my life, so I asked him if he wanted to do it. He hadn't been playing for probably 6 months at that point. He'd been just totally out of bands and just kind of, had his drums packed up for a while. But he was down to give it a shot and started practicing with him, and he's, way better drummer than me. And that worked out. And then Will, we just kind of, neither of us really knew Will that much.
Yeah, I knew
but-
him through like I'm kind of in the jazz scene, not really, but
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. I was like, why jazz songs?
a lot of my friends are jazz musicians, and I'll sing with them sometimes.
Okay.
And through them, like you meet one jazz musician, you meet 20 jazz musicians. So we met. It's true.
Yeah.
Traveling past.
Yeah.
So I met Will Lang at. I want to say I met him at the Cove at one of the jazz shows, but I'm probably wrong, and I'm sorry, Will. But honestly, when the three of us were together, when it was just me, him, and Daniel, we were like, we need a bassist. Let's find the bassist. And I think I messaged Will, and I was like, "Do you play bass?" Like I didn't even know if he played bass. I was like, "Do you?" Because I'd only seen him play guitar. And he's an amazing jazz guitarist. He's a good singer too. He should sing more often. But I'm talking to
Yeah.
Will. I know he's watching.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I messaged him and I was like, "Do you play bass?" He was like, actually, I do, and I'm amazing at it.
Did you say that?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
He is though.
He is, though.
It's totally like cliche to talk about a bassist or the bass in general as like the glue of a band.
Mhm.
That's such a rock cliche, but he is like really an exceptionally gluey bassist. I think like I would say that about him more than anybody I've played with. Like he's just super rock solid and like really hears what gaps need to be filled. You know.
He's one of those guys born with like perfect timing.
Yeah, oh man, he's like the most musically astute of us for sure. Like
Yeah.
he knows everything about music, and he's just real just real cerebral player.
That's awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
That's what a gift. So, it's almost like watching someone effortlessly kind of navigate between like different. Like you don't see how hard they practice,
Right.
which is not fair to like kind of compare your outsides to someone else's insides. But like when you watch it, like man, I want to play the harmonica. I want to do that.
right.
Yeah, no, he's incredible, and it's funny. We've played with a guest bassist one time. It was Ed Johnson, previously mentioned, and he did fantastic. I mean, he practiced just with the two of us like twice, maybe 3 times, and he did an incredible
Killed it,
job. But
crushed
crushed it. But it's so amazing, like how much Will brings to Rosey, like as a bit, like as our sound. How much of our sound is created by him when you hear our songs with a different bass player.
Yeah.
Like it incredible.
Yeah, it takes on a different personality. Everybody's different, and kind of it is amazing when you plug and play what ends up happening. It would be cool to like do like an NFL NBA draft for like Memphis bands,
Right.
and kind of just take like everybody kind of like I get you, I get you, and then everybody just like then to play the same songs that you've been playing and see what it would sound
Man,
like.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Why don't we do that?
That would be a wild time just to do like one-off show.
Right.
Yeah, we'll call it the draft party.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's not like so jockey.
Yeah. No, we got to find like a good sports bar out in East Memphis or something to do it at.
I keep wanting to play out in East Memphis, but
Yeah.
there's not a bunch
Can you do?
of venues to play.
Yeah.
Someone, if they want to like make like $1 million idea, I don't even know if it's $1 million idea because like it's hard to book a band like a band of originals out East Memphis for some reason. When you get outside the perimeter, I don't know if it's like a stereotype that just kind of like glued in people's brains
Right. Yeah.
or whatever and whatnot, but it's not like people out there don't like music. I've
Yeah.
seen we see what they listen to on Spotify. It's not all Guns N' Roses and stuff, you know. So like I would love to see because if they market like Music Fest and all that is for kids in the suburbs, and they come out downtown for all these these bands and these diverse lineups like Memphis Fest, they gotta want to not like get the DUI and go out to a venue of their own
Yeah.
town.
I think it's like you said. It is just like a stereotype that's kind of made it come to life. Like you just because I mean, bands that play around Midtown all the time are kind of afraid to play out anywhere east of Highland because it's like, well, none of my Midtown friends are gonna come.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it's
Yeah. No
like-
one from Midtown is going to drive
Right.
out there. So
That's
there's
the
not gonna be
point.
anyone.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, and I'm playing with the band at the Rock House Live over there.
Riley Grange?
Riley Lagrange.
Yeah.
I haven't even been there myself, so I'm as guilty as anybody. But I'm excited to see how it is.
And Nefarious Damn Things, I think, played there last night. They played an early show.
Oh, is that where it was?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I played
I love Rodney.
Yeah.
a solo show there, like 3 or 4 years ago.
Really? I didn't even realize it'd been there that long.
Yeah, it was a while ago, maybe 3 years ago, but it was a burlesque show, and I opened for it with an acoustic set. It was very interesting. But people came out. I mean, it was a burlesque show, so
Yeah.
naturally, but yeah, it was not something I was expecting to see in that area. But yeah, people came.
Okay, so all right, I hosted a burlesque show recently.
Yeah.
And it was maybe the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing. Number one, I usually anytime I see someone host a burlesque show, it's a woman, and it's they got like a bustier on. They're kind of with the theme of the show, and I'm like, I'm a dude wearing a band shirt with black jeans.
Yeah.
I'm trying to try to tell jokes and stuff like that, and people are just like not having it.
Oh no.
So you're playing an acoustic set, opening up a burlesque show.
Yeah.
I mean, how were you sweating a little bit?
Well, little known fact about me, I was kind of not really. I don't know. I was kind of involved with the burlesque scene for a few years, so I was already pretty comfortable.
Okay.
With these people, it wasn't anything weird, and they're all just so sweet. I used to be what they call a stage kitten, which is like the girls that wear like the little lingerie and run on stage and pick up the clothes after the dancers are done. Yeah, so I got to know all of them through that, and they're so sweet. They're all so sweet, and it's so fun just like being backstage with them, and like it's just a bunch of beautiful women just like running around naked, and you're just like, all right, see you on stage.
Yeah. Because I was hosting, I remember the Allie. She was putting it together. It was the metal tees, the heavy metal tees, and she's like,
Allie.
you could just come back there. You've seen people naked before. I was like, I don't feel comfortable being back there, and if someone else saw me walk back there and didn't know that I had permission, I'd be like, I don't want that. I don't want that to end up on a bathroom somewhere in Midtown. I will stay my ass over here.
It's probably a good call.
Fair, yeah.
It is funny that you say, because it is true that burlesque is such a very. I love burlesque because it's all body types. It's empowering. It's like the celebration of like. Of your body, of music, and all this stuff, but at the same time you watch and like the performing, you become a different person when a lot of these girls get off stage. Hi.
Yeah.
So nice to see you. You did a great job. like I was just like, man, that's so sweet and like it's awesome to see that, just to kind of, because what you see that like doesn't match the eye. So I always love watching that, like it's almost like the weekend warrior. Like, yeah, you see me 9 to 5, but when I get out of here, game on.
Yeah, that's when you get to really. I don't want to say like be yourself, but you get to show that side of you that no one ever gets to see, and it's exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and a lot of times, like I guess with social media, you get to kind of like maybe drip that out a little bit more, because I mean, if you didn't show up to the show, you wouldn't know any of this stuff. But like, you know, you kind of like, I don't know, there's like more circulation, so you kind of get to know somebody. But yeah, but like with that, because a lot of times that's reserved for the people who are at the show or your significant other.
Right.
They're the only ones who get to see that, you know, and that's like half the fun of like the secret. But you know, it's cool to be able to get out there and kind of let that, I don't know, I'd say freak flag fly.
Yeah.
But like, you know.
I mean, I don't think anyone would argue with you on that.
Yeah. So we got the show tomorrow.
Yes.
You have the birthday show September 13th.
Yes.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
What else you had planned for the future?
We got the Opossums EP release.
Oh, yeah.
On the 26th of this month.
They're putting out a vinyl. And that release is going to be at
B-Sides.
At B-Sides?
Yeah, we've never played there before.
Well, you got to tell me, because I've been there for a couple of shows, but I'm always wondering what it looks like on the other end.
Yeah.
Right.
Like how it sounds, in the room. If there's like the monitors and all that.
Yeah.
Same. It seems like it's a pretty nice setup. So I'm excited to see what that's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too.
We gotta finish up. We're trying to actually make those same style video for the rest of the songs on the EP. So we got 2 of them done now. We're gonna try to just finish them up, just to have something up on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, we just released another one for Boats, which is the first song.
Oh wait, 2 more music videos?
Videos, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, same sort of DIY, same set, just like different scenes.
I think that's so smart. I really do, because like the kind of like the multifaceted, like it's just multimedia world we live in right now. Because you're begging and you're grabbing for attention.
Right.
So if you're doing videos in accompaniment with these songs, they they can have a mental image of or like a visual image.
Exactly what you were saying. Yeah.
Smart guy.
Wow. I'm a multimedia mogul. Yeah, no, it's and a lot of people stream music on YouTube too. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's part of the thinking. I know a lot of people who just listen to music, so might as well have your songs on YouTube, even if it's just up with the picture. You know, it's probably better to have them up there in some form than nothing.
Yeah. And obviously, from the conversation, people are going to gather that you're a couple, so you live together. Do you guys turn this off, or is it always just running, or is it just always just lurking?
I mean, it's super fun, so it
Yeah.
kind of it's pretty nice to like live with somebody and be involved with somebody that like has the same favorite hobby as you. So
Mhm.
you both, we get off work and we're just like, what can we do
It's
for the
just
band?
very-
Are
Yeah.
we writing songs? Are we making a video? Or what's up?
If we both have a day off together, that's like all we do.
Yeah.
We'll just wake up in the morning and start either like working on a song or building a set for a music video or like going outside and shooting little music videos on the porch and stuff like that. It's great not having to like organize a schedule around like a whole bunch of people when you just have your person here and you're both doing the thing together and you can
Yeah.
just like you don't have to be like, all right, next Thursday I'm free. You just wake up in the morning and you're like, all right, what do you want to do for the band?
You don't have to worry about your significant other getting tired of hearing you talk about it. Like,
Yeah, that's
like I want to
true.
be able to complain about how this one part sounds. Like she'll listen, so that's cool.
Yeah, you got a vested interest in it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
People, like a lot of people, scour the earth for a relationship like that. You know, like I don't think you're gonna find that on Tinder. You know,
Right.
unless you guys met on Tinder, that'd be
No,
that'd be wild.
No, that would be
crazy.
That would have been crazy, actually.
Yeah, we've met at open mics pretty much, I guess. or something
Yeah,
like
we
that.
got to know each other doing open mics.
Okay.
Like, almost a decade ago.
Yeah, we were like
Crazy.
17.
Do you know the moment where it was just like it was a song, or just like
It's weird. I don't personally remember. I mean, we knew each other for so long.
Yeah.
We only started dating a couple years ago. So I don't really remember when we met or anything. I'm pretty sure it was at Laurel's house.
Yeah, oh yeah, we definitely, because
Um,
you were Laurel's friend.
right.
Like, I had no idea who you were.
Laurel
But-
Lamplighter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lamplighter
Yep.
Laurel.
Yep.
Shout out. Love you. Yeah, we met at her house, because Laurel and I both loved singing, but we needed somebody that could play an instrument so that we could sing, and of course he's the best guitar player I've ever known, ever.
Yeah, you're
So-
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know if I haven't said that yet a couple of times, but yeah, and I haven't talked about the other 17 bands that you're playing in currently.
Right. Probably need to tone that down a little bit. It's getting a little hectic.
Yeah, actually recording with one of them.
What was the first song you guys played together?
Well, there was Hallelujah, and then there was that I Want to Know Your Plans.
Oh yeah, the
That Say Anything song, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we would play those at,
Which I forgot about that song until recently. I heard it and I was like, man.
yeah, we would play those. I think there was another one, but I don't remember. But we would
Yeah.
play those at Java Cabana.
Like
over
every
the-
week.
Like
yeah.
every Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just we didn't really talk again for like a really long time
Mhm.
after that. I mean, I wouldn't say that's not really when we became friends. That's
Yeah.
like when we met.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
kind of, and then she had like a house venue for a while that you lived at, and
Stash
the band
House.
would play there.
Stash House?
Yeah, yeah, it was called Stash House, and we didn't think about the title of the house at the time. We named it that because okay, well at the time there was the Dairy House venue, there was the Kool-Aid House venue, and we were like, all right, we're gonna name our venue after a drink, and Stash was my favorite brand of tea at the time, so we named our house Stash House, and then Snickers abound, like everyone thought it was hilarious,
Yeah.
but yeah, so his band became like one of the most frequent bands that played at Stash.
Which one
back
was
in the
that?
day.
It's called Who's Army.
Who's Army?
Which actually Daniel and Alyssa, that was our like high school band.
Okay.
And yeah, we played there quite a bit, and so I saw you then, and I'd see you around. But
We still didn't really. That's still not
yeah,
when
we
we
still,
became.
Yeah, yeah.
we just very occasionally exchange words, but
You know, it's always cool because like Memphis is such a small, big city that it's so incestuous in so many different ways. So it's nice to see when it works out.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just kind of wild because I know a lot of people have to avoid certain spots or this, that, and the other. I'm like, so when you have like-minded interests and get together on a common cause, that's beautiful. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And you just played last night with Strengths.
yeah.
God.
That was fun, man. I opened for Lydia Lunch. I honestly never was super into Lydia Lunch. I didn't dislike any of her work. I just wasn't the most familiar with it, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She did actually something called verbal burlesque, is what she's calling it. I mean, it's like kind of spoken word.
Okay.
A lot of ranting, kind of poetry, and she had a bassist and drummer that would do really loud, heavy noise kind of in between.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Like setting up the next sentence and that and the
Yeah.
other, and it kind of accentuate the verbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. I mean, it would have been cool just as a noise show, and then, but yeah, it was cool.
Lydia Lynch, another band, an artist that Robert Fortner recommended. I couldn't make it out last night, but when I looked her up and I was like, okay, this could be very, very interesting. Because when I heard verbal burlesque, I was like, is she just going to read like 50 Shades of Grey live?
Right.
And so, what's this all about?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like that at times. It was all over the place, but it's super fun, yeah. And that was the first time Strengths has played in half a year at least.
Yeah. I think the last time was I saw you guys play at, I forgot, was it like Refreshingly Heavy or the night before? It was at the High Tone, I believe.
It was probably Alyssa's birthday.
Alyssa's birthday.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, that was pretty wild. Whenever you see crazy time signatures, it's like, are they showing off because they know how to do this?
Right.
It's just amazing to watch that go.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back and like to Rosie's playing. I mean, you guys kind of follow a bunch of styles. I love like the kind of, I forgot what I think it's on Neptune. It's like the almost like that, not rockabilly, but it's like that.
Oh yeah, like the little surf.
Yeah, like the surf kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Thing.
Hey, you're playing with punk, you're playing with alternative, you're playing with rock, you're playing with surf. It's really kind of wild to watch. You're kind of incorporating a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So you can't really pinpoint your sound, and it's kind of better that way. I like the mystery of it. But I think, like, you have any plans to play out of town anytime soon?
Yeah, I hope we don't have any concrete plans, but it's definitely something we're kind of thinking we need to start looking into.
Yeah.
Kind of start branching out a little bit. I don't think any of us schedule-wise are going to be in a position to take off for a month or something,
Yeah.
but start maybe doing a little weekend work,
Awesome.
kind of biz.
Yeah, because I would love to everybody else to get to see you. Because I think you guys are, just because of the songwriting and the musical talent that you guys have and the way you command the stage, there's a part of me that just thinks you're going to be like the thing that people are talking about, that like I hope they come to our town.
Oh, man.
I'm serious. You guys sound great, and it's amazing music. And we really love what you guys are doing.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. One last thing. Heavy metal knitting. Someone just sent me a video of this heavy metal knitting competition that it was this guy in like almost like mayhem face paint, and he's sitting there and he's like, "Oh, Satan!" and he's knitting a sweater on stage with blast beats behind him.
Oh, nice.
God.
So this was a live thing.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was
That's ballsy, man. Get out there and knit in front of a heavy metal audience.
yeah. Get something that you can bring grandma out to, you know.
I was like, I need to get my mom. My mom crochets. It's like some heavy metal crochet.
Is that crocheting when you have the little is that the circle? When
She uses that sometimes. I think it's just a different needle and a different stitch, but she does use the circle thing, like
yeah,
scarves
tambourine, the tambourine
yeah,
stitch.
like a tambourine with like little pokey things coming out of it. I don't know. I'm ruining crochet for everyone right now because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But
I complain about it, whatever.
come out to my mom's heavy metal crochet show and she'll inform everyone.
And I think the band that won the competition was actually, they brought out, it was an Asian woman, and she brought 2 sumo wrestlers out, and they were like doing the sumo stomp while she was doing her thing. I was like, man, that was a wild party.
I love it.
After a certain point, you think we're gonna run out of ideas? Because it's heavy metal knitting, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
two things I would never put together.
So just pick 2 completely different words and find a way to smush them together and make a show out of it.
Just keep opening up dictionary and
Yeah.
pointing at
Yeah,
words.
but fit 2 fish bowls,
Yeah.
random words, put them together.
Yeah.
That's your song
Exactly.
title. Work with it. You're an artist. Get something out of it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been The Stump. We do it every 3 p.m. Right here at 98.1 The Max. Next week, we're off because of the golf championship at St. Jude. You can get tickets at I believe, at 981themax.com. There's a link. You can buy tickets to that and hobnob with the Goocher Smoochers, which I always think golf is like, it's a pontoon boat that crashed on land. And everybody just keeps drinking and partying. And then they tell you to be quiet, which is obnoxious. But the week after that, we'll have Pixels. Incredible another group of incredible musicians.
Love those boys.
I mean,
Those boys.
the coolest thing about Pixels, just quick story, if you see them, they have, what they do is they have a box with the Mario Brothers star, I believe like a flower or something like that. And if you put $5 or $10 in the box, you could take the star out of the box and throw it on stage at any moment. And they go in, they play that in the middle of a song. It's the greatest thing. So if you ever get a chance to see Pixels, we'll have them in 2 weeks. But Rosey playing tomorrow at the High Tone. Also August for Opossum. What do you call it? Opossum?
July 26th.
Oh, July
Yeah,
26th?
Yeah, the Opossum's vinyl release.
Vinyl release, and that's
Yeah,
at B-Sides.
B-Sides, yeah.
So make sure you look that up, and also the birthday party, Caitlin birthday party.
September 13th at the P&H.
Yeah, Friday the
Wine
13th.
Witch and Model Zero.
And Model Zero. Wine Witch is such a...
They're awesome.
We love them.
Yeah. But, go see them, and like them on Facebook, follow them on social media, because when you guys book, it does matter. Unfortunately, likes do matter for some reason. But I get it, yeah. Everybody's playing this game.
Right.
But also check out the EP, which is entitled It's a Good Day to Get Swallowed by a Whale.
Great day to be swallowed by a whale.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And the lyrics in Oppression, I believe, is the name of the song. Is it
Opportunist?
Opportunist, I'm sorry.
Close.
We're trying here. We're winging it half the time. But no, like I just love the way, yeah. She screams on it. It's pretty badass. It's awesome. So go check out and listen to the album and see them live. I'm Ross with The Stump, and thank you for joining us.